It's time for NuWellness TV with Dr. Lee. Join your host, the accomplished Dr. Cherilyn Lee, as she welcomes the leading experts in health and well-being as they explore the advancements in natural health, physical fitness, nutrition, integrative medicine, and self-discovery.
Good morning, or whatever time it is for you, if you're not on this coast. I want to thank you so much for joining us today. And please have your pens and paper ready to take notes. And if you missed the show, please, we will be posting the show on the YouTube channel, NuWellness TV with Dr. Lee. Thank you very much. My guest today, we're going to jump right in and get started because he is an incredible human being on this planet, and I am so grateful to have him here in the studio with us today. And it is Keith Watts. I'm sorry, it is Dennis Watts. I did not forget Dennis Watts. Thank you so much. I sent all this social media work out. It's Dennis Watts, so Dennis it went out Watts. Perfectly.
Yes.
So thank you so much, Mr. Watts. Mm-hmm. You have done some incredible work. And as far as being a physicist and a scientist and a researcher and just been doing this for years, I want you, there's not enough words I can say to give you justice as to who you are. I think you can probably share with our audience here and let them know a little bit more about your background, especially as we go through this journey of this conversation today, your nutritional component as well.
Right.
But
well, again, thank you so very, very much for allowing me this platform and this venue in order to share some of the things I have been experiencing and sharing with a lot of the world.
Yes.
I've been doing this for well over 2 years at this capacity where I've been doing various shows and trying to get the word out. The main thing, of course, is I have been researching the Fukushima issue
yes.
and trying to find a way to get it resolved. But at the same time, as I was doing the research, I saw things were getting amazingly critical.
Yes.
And I wanted to let people know, not only just here, people on the West Coast, but across the whole planet.
Yes.
We need to know that something serious is going on, and we need to understand why the ambulance, you hear it so relatively frequent on your streets.
Mm-hmm.
I know I do, 3 or 4 times a day.
And why the emergency rooms are so crowded and hospitals are packed with people. I know I was over at UCLA years ago, and they told me they were building on new wings for the cancer oncology and for cancer patients. It's just amazing what's happening.
Absolutely.
And you're going to go in more detail for everyone here and let them know, why are we so sick? Why from infancy to adult and even in utero, this is why kids are born already compromised.
Absolutely.
So,
but let me just kind of give people an idea of why I think the way I think.
Yes.
Why I am the way I am.
Yes.
Why in the world would I take on such an intense problem?
Yes. Oh, yes.
Try to wrap my brain around it and try to wrap other people's brains around it so they can understand. You have to understand that, my background is engineering, science, and I spent many, many years, over 30, 40 years, working with NASA, working with DARPA, doing one-of-a-kind, just what-if type projects. And I also worked on the Space Shuttle program for many years, and then I worked on the International Space Station, building their highly complex communication systems and things of that sort, so you can get high definition from while satellites and space stations are moving around the planet. Mm-hmm. And so having customers like DARPA, like NASA, they like things perfect and beyond perfect. And so you get hammered in order to solve some very complex problems in a very short period of time.
Right.
So after doing that for years and years, solving hard problems becomes kind of easy. That's why they call you rocket scientists. So
exactly.
Uh-huh. It was my nickname for a long time. Where's the rocket scientist?
I'm sure it
was.
But
nonetheless, I have the ability to solve hard problems. That's my gift.
Yes.
And
what a blessing.
Now that I am retired from that industry, I just said, well, what am I going to do with all this stuff I've learned over the last 40 years?
Okay, yes.
And so my other passion, in addition to doing my normal job, was health and healing.
Yes, okay.
And so I studied and took my extra money, went through all kinds of seminars so that I could become expert in nutrition, expert in anatomy, physiology, and understand herbology, Ayurvedic medicine, Chinese medicine. And I tried to understand Western medicine, but the bottom line, I said, they made this way too complicated.
Yes, they did.
I guess it's deliberate. But nonetheless, I found that the other way, where we are managing health instead of disease, was the best way to go.
Yes.
But in the process of me understanding how health works as opposed to disease,
exactly,
I found out that we needed to understand the earth itself.
Yes.
And that's where my focus is, because after all the thousands of books I may have looked at and gleaned all this knowledge, I found out the planet has to vibrate to support life.
Oh, yes, definitely.
And if I have a situation wherein my air isn't right, or my water isn't right, or just the surrounding living space of the planet is not right, I don't care how many nutrients and good food and organic food you take, you're not going to be right either.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
So whenever this problem with Fukushima came up and I saw these major explosions, and I had some knowledge as to what in fact was going on when you have fuel rods that go 200 feet up in the air and then scatter,
yes,
that's a problem, especially when it's plutonium involved and uranium is involved. Those are some of the most toxic substances made by man on the planet. Just a microgram of this substance will make your life go sideways. And so that, to me, was very concerning, being that the Pacific Ocean is right there.
Yes.
And what my brain was saying, what's going to happen to the phytoplankton? Now, people might say, well, what are phytoplankton? These are the tiny little microbes that exist in the first 30 feet of the ocean. And these guys, they are the largest biomass on the planet, whether you know it or not. And they are the ones that produce anywhere from 70 to 80% of the oxygen that fills our atmosphere. Most people think it's just trees. Trees do the other 20%. And as a result, we have to understand if their life cycle gets disrupted because too much radiation is present, that means the fish can't breathe because they need oxygen. And that means we can't put oxygen in the atmosphere so we can have a healthy ozone layer.
Yes.
And that means our ability to take in oxygen is going to be significantly reduced as well. A healthy atmosphere would have about 38% oxygen.
Okay, yes.
If we're getting down to like 20, 15, 8, 12, it's going to be really, really hard to hold your health together.
Yes.
And this is, in my opinion, why cancer is going through the roof. Cancer is one of those type diseases that needs an anaerobic type environment in order to thrive. If it's oxygenated inside your body, you cannot host cancer for all intent and purpose.
Yes.
Now, this isn't just a conspiracy theory. A person got a Nobel Prize for this back in 1930s. Dr. Otto Warburg got that. And I keep wondering, why isn't Western medicine using this knowledge? It just blows my mind. It's something so simple. You got to keep your system oxygenated in order to manage cancer. But if I have a situation where I have low oxygen and I have a toxic environment, all kinds of things
are going to happen. That's why I've been really busy here lately.
Yes.
Extremely busy because for that reason.
Absolutely. And so what I'm trying to do is to get people to understand that there is a very toxic situation going on a global scale. This isn't just on a West Coast situation. It's all across the United States, all across Europe, and most of the northern and the southern hemisphere is being involved with this because it's been since March of 2011 since we experienced this. Now, I'm not going to attribute what we're presently experiencing just to Fukushima. It is a major contributor, yes, but not the main cause. I believe something else is going on.
Oh, yes.
Based on, because I reviewed the EPA reports, and usually anywhere from 65 cities around the United States will send in information reporting on what the level of radiation is in their particular city.
Okay.
Now, this last month, let's say from April the 8th to the 22nd of April,
okay,
I was reading and reviewing the reports. And like Colorado Springs, they were measuring or reported something like over 10,000 clicks per minute.
Oh, my goodness.
That's an enormous amount of radiation being exposed, and that's somewhere around like 160, 150 nanosieverts per hour. And to give you an idea, you're in this all day, all night. You can't escape it. And it's like you walking through an airport scanner all day long.
Oh, my goodness.
And that's very, very, let's say, contraindicative for your genetics.
Yes.
It just tears them apart bit by bit, ion by ion.
Yeah, right
and
at the mitochondrium. I mean, the whole cell, everything.
Everything is going to be compromised if you're in an environment like that. And that's just Colorado Springs, Colorado. Here in Los Angeles, for instance, they reported somewhere around 6,500 clicks per minute. Now, these numbers are extremely high. Just to give you an idea what the normal background radiation should be, it's somewhere between 5 and 20 clicks per minute.
5? You're kidding.
5 and 20 clicks. You should be notifying the public at 100 clicks per minute and evacuating at 300 clicks per minute. That's the way it should be, but there's nowhere to go. So what do we do in the meantime, between time, in order to protect ourselves? Because this stuff is accumulative over time.
Yes.
When we're talking about a nanosievert per hour, that adds up if you're doing nothing to get that stuff to be erased out of your system. And this is where I'm hoping people will pull out a notebook and take a couple of notes.
You have to.
Yeah.
You have to. Save your life and your family and
your children.
Definitely.
I was talking to a friend of mine just a couple of days ago. Now, I had never shared any of this information with him, and he just happened to show or share, this is in the Denver, Colorado area, that the infant mortality rate was up 20%. Just one of those happening is an enormous amount of despair.
Yes, it is. Yes,
but
it is.
20% out of every 100, 20 are passing away. And then they said the elderly are really dying like left, right, and center in the Denver, Colorado area. But they have been under great radioactive stress since January. Now, it was mild radioactive stress for the last few years. We're talking about up to 1,000, 2,000 clicks per minute. But now, with 10,000, in March, it was up to 12,000.
Oh, my.
And it went down to 10,000. And in New Mexico, near Navajo Lake, it was measuring around 11,000 clicks per minute. And I was talking to a person yesterday because they were in a frantic mode. And she was at a conference in Scottsdale, Arizona, just outside of Phoenix, Arizona. And they are measuring something like 6,000 clicks per minute in Arizona. And she was saying everybody at this conference was getting ill. Their tummies, their stomachs were being swollen. They were having intense problems with endurance and stamina. Even the speakers were having an issue, and these were pros.
Right. And did they make any
they had no idea what was
anything
going
about
on.
any palpitations going on as well? Anything cardiovascular wise?
Nobody could tell what was going on. They were just feeling bad.
Feeling bad. Okay.
Feeling really bad and didn't know what was going on. And because this person had been to one of my talks, she was kind of up on what was happening. And she was sharing with people because some of the people were coming from places like New Mexico where the radiation is through the roof.
Wow.
And they were really having some serious issues because of their throat, the nasal passages, upper respiratory infections and things of that sort, and they just could not find relief no matter what they're doing, and it's lasting for more than what a cold or a flu would last.
And that's what people are saying. They are in bed unless they see me and I do the vitamin C IV therapies, and they seem to recover a lot faster, including
Absolutely.
myself. But and even the mucus has been different. Within the last several months, the people are coughing, and the mucus is so tenacious they can't even cough it up from the lungs.
Right.
They blow their nose and everything because of the sinuses and everything that's happening in the mucus membrane, which you just discussed. And it's just they could barely get it out of the body.
Right.
It needs to liquefy it, or you're using humidifier or something. Even with that, people are still having problems.
Now, here's where you need to take a note, because a hot bath in 2 cups of aluminum-free baking soda, Red Mill makes aluminum-free baking soda, and 2 cups of salt. It could be the Himalayan pink or the gray, and I repeat, gray Celtic sea salt. Take your pick. But 2 cups of that into a tub of water, and you should sit in that water, and it should be as hot as you can tolerably sit for 30 minutes. Do not add hot water while you're in the tub.
Okay.
Just let it cool and just be in it for 30 minutes. When you get out, don't rinse off. Just dry yourself off and go on about your business. But what happens is this bicarbonate of soda with the salt will help draw quickly through your skin radioactivity and radionuclides out of your system. That's a quick way to help alleviate the challenges with upper respiratory, feelings of congestion in the lungs, and the nasal passages. That will be very helpful in a situation.
2 cups. Let's give that recipe again.
That's 2 cups of bicarbonate of soda, aluminum-free. Mm-hmm. Red Mill is a brand I know that makes aluminum-free baking soda, and 2 cups of salt. That could be the Himalayan pink or the Celtic, but it should be gray, not white. That's just me. I want all those minerals.
Okay. That is wonderful. Thank you for sharing. Well, we have so many things to share, but that is amazing. I'm going to try that one tonight myself.
Yeah, everybody needs to do that, because the levels, especially in LA, are through the roof, and all up and down the West Coast, from Spokane down to San Diego, from Boston down to Miami, and even in Washington, D.C., they are experiencing like over 2,000 clicks per minute. And that's enormous. And I'm concerned about my grandchildren who are in Fort Worth, Texas, and it's around 5,000 clicks per minute in Dallas-Fort Worth area. And we need to be aware of what we're experiencing and not just shrug it off.
Exactly.
And let's go and clean this stuff up. Now, one of the things that I've also found in my research that helps annihilate radiation is humic and fulvic acid complexes.
Okay.
It's not only good for biological systems, it's good for the environment too.
Okay.
It has been shown and demonstrated that fulvic acid actually remediates, removes the presence of radioactivity.
Yeah, I take one myself.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that is something else that needs to be taken into consideration and used on a daily basis, because the humic and fulvic acid has what I call hyperintelligent molecules.
Yes.
And a hyperintelligent molecule, it means to me, what that means in essence is very adaptogenic, meaning, again, that it knows, and I don't know how it knows, I just say it's connected to source mind function in some beautiful way.
Uh-huh.
But wherever there's too much energy, it removes the electrons of that molecular structure, including radioactivity. If there's not enough, it gives electrons. So it just creates balance everywhere it goes. And that is what is important for health, balance.
Now, it's in a liquid form. I take one.
It comes in liquid.
I take one in a liquid
in capsule.
Yeah.
Take your pick.
Okay.
But the bottom line is get some in
your body. Yes.
This is a natural nutrient that is made by the Creator. They have tried to duplicate it in the lab, but they were very unsuccessful. They just can't do what the Creator can do. So they just kicked it under the rug and say, don't talk about this anymore. But nonetheless, I'm bringing it to your attention.
Thank you.
And that is something that definitely needs to be taken into consideration. One of the things that's also very important is that we must clean and clear the upper and lower GI and the lungs. And the upper and lower GI can be remediated if we use like bentonite clay, just a very small amount. Can be extremely helpful for cleaning out any particles you ingest, because keep in mind, when the cows eat grass and the cloves, they have probably been doused with radioactive rain.
Oh, yes, I'm
because
sure.
of all these years, this radioactivity has gone into our environment, gone into our weather patterns, and we are raining radioactive rain, and that's feeding and making and concentrating into radioactive grass, which is being eaten by our cows, where we get our milk and our cheese and our butter.
But do you notice even when the evenings when we have a heavy fog, you could feel it in the air.
Yes.
You can actually feel it. I mean, the consistency of the air and breathing it in. People say, I'm so short of breath and I can't do this. The air quality because of the mist.
Absolutely.
So those droplets are attached to that mist out there.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I tend to try to stay out the night air as much as possible at
and
times.
You want to stay out of, I remember one time I was just cleaning dew off of the windshield of my car, and I had a paper towel to wipe off the thing, and my hand accidentally touched it, and I could feel the tingling.
Oh,
I
yeah.
knew
Oh, my
immediately
goodness.
what it was, and I rushed to go wash my hands for about 5 or 7 minutes because I knew
Right.
what was happening. But the bottom line is, this problem has incorporated into our weather systems.
Yes, it has.
It's everywhere. So we need to take care of our upper and lower GI because you can't stop eating.
No, you cannot.
And nobody wants to tell you if your food is contaminated or not.
No.
So bentonite clay is something else we need to probably add in order to keep the level of radiation from accumulating in our system.
Exactly.
And that's because if we get anywhere from 1/2 to 1 sievert of this radiation, that's when we will have acute symptoms of radiation poisoning. And that means loose teeth, bloody gums, skin rashes, and the onset diabetes just come out of the blue, even if you're eating healthy.
Right.
Or you might get heart disease, circulatory problems,
Exactly.
congestive heart failure could just
Because-
appear out of nowhere, arrhythmias, because your veins, your capillaries, and your arteries are under constant attack because of the presence of these radionuclides that are constantly dismantling our genetics.
And I would think too, after doing the bentonite, we have a very good source of colostrum that works really well with leaky gut. Because once you get it cleaned up, you want to make sure that leaky gut, you're still not having these problems.
Absolutely.
So I really work closely with people when it comes to leaky gut as well. And adding the bentonite would be great for the radiation.
Absolutely. Because leaky gut, as far as I'm concerned, it leads to a lot of intense allergies and sensitivities.
Everything, yes, everything.
And that's got to get healed.
Kidney disease, I mean, the whole array of what you just spoke on.
Absolutely.
It's all linked to leaky gut. So
Right. And one other thing that I think is very, very important, and this is where you want to take a note again.
Take a note.
That is, take a organic lemon, wash it really good, put it in the freezer 8 to 10 hours till it turns to a hard rock.
Okay.
And then get a real fine cheese grate. And you take that frozen lemon and run it across that, and you turn that peel, the rind, and the pulp, and the seeds into a powder. You want to do it quickly because you don't want it to melt into a glob.
Yeah.
And then you put it in a glass container, not plastic, and you store it in the freezer. You take 1 or 2 teaspoons of this powder that has the whole lemon in it.
An organic lemon.
Organic. And you put it in warm water. And if you want, you can put a couple of drops of stevia, but not sugar, and drink it down like a strong lemonade. And that will also help with the healing of leaky gut.
Okay.
Also, it helps with building strong bile in the liver and the gallbladder, because bile is what is very, very, very important for having a healthy upper and lower GI, assisting in digestion and assisting in proper regular elimination. So all of these things, and lemon is one of the foods that I found that is outstanding for building the strength of that little circulatory network.
And people need to realize if you're going to do that, you shouldn't have problems with constipation, because it's the bile from the gallbladder that emulsifies the fat. So you shouldn't have all these problems with hard stools if you have a good, healthy liver gallbladder.
Absolutely.
So that's really a great recipe.
And that right there is something, and you want to try to do that whole lemon within a week or a week and a half at the most, and then do another one. And you would do that maybe 3 weeks out of a month and then take a month off.
Okay.
You know, because some people may have a sensitivity to too much citric acid flowing through their system.
Okay.
But at the same time, this is very, very beneficial. Not only gives you nice, healthy, youthful, shiny, bright skin, which
Wonderful.
I love.
Okay.
But it heals the veins, the capillaries, and the arteries. It helps the epithelial cells be more smooth, getting rid of plaque. It's very, very good at that.
You don't have to take a lot of medication and
No.
And that's what a lot of people think. And I tell them, God has put everything is on this planet for us to heal.
Absolutely.
The universe have everything right in place for us.
You got it.
And this is what you said with the lemon. A lot of people say, well, no, I can't afford to go buy this supplement and that supplement and from this company and that company. Let your food be your medicine, as we know that's been stated
That's the best way.
many times. Yes.
Like I said, I saw our system was way too complicated. Let's simplify it.
Yes.
Let's use food as our medicine is my belief.
Yes.
And that's where most of my research is headed towards. Now, I want to go and say that fulvic acid, it comes from the earth. But people have to go and mine it and bring it to you. It's not something you're going to find in your food, your normal food.
Right.
It's literally like eating dirt, but it is very, very intelligent, hyper-intelligent dirt. And it knows how to create balance in your body. And that's why we want to have a little touch of that in there, because it will dismantle radioactive nuclides.
Because you look very healthy. You spoke about having grandchildren, so you look very healthy yourself.
Yes. I'm a retired person.
Okay.
Keep that in the forefront of your mind. Even though I might look young, I've been out there for a long time.
I've been out there for a long time, but I don't plan to retire. So.
But when I say, I mean I don't have a normal job,
exactly,
getting an income and all that stuff. I kind of wish I'm going to get back into that, because we're going to
do some work together, because after going over your bio and some other things, I said there's some things we need to do.
Yes.
Some things we need to do. So get ready.
Get ready.
Get ready.
Now, you want to take another note. Another product that I found that's natural, that is very, very important to have in your arsenal for protecting you and your children, is something called Folium PX. I went to the office of Barbara Oren, and I looked at his clinicals, and I was very, very impressed.
He's been a guest.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we did a whole show on, and actually I sell it in the office. I actually take it myself. I have many, many patients on this product. It's amazing.
Yes. And it's very, very good for removing heavy metals.
Yes.
And those people in Flint, Michigan who have lead poisoning and arsenic and cadmium and things of that sort, this is an excellent product.
And titanium for those who've had implants.
Absolutely. To cleanse and purify the system of heavy metal poisoning, but it also helps remove radiation out of the system as well. And people who are on chemotherapy is very, very good for protecting your white blood cell count and making sure it's normal and maintained the intelligence of the body by maintaining a healthy immune process.
Because I have all my, and I don't like the word cancer, I just say abnormal cells. They're all taking this product.
Good.
And if some of them want to still do radiation or chemo, they're still taking to protect them.
Right.
Yeah.
So you want to Google Folium PX. It'll take you to that site. Another product I want to bring to your attention that I think is very, very good. This is a fulvic acid product. It's called Divine Vine. Divine Vine is a fulvic acid with life crystals. And what are life crystals? Life crystals were discovered by Dr. George Merkel way back in the 90s. And he basically had this unbelievable microscope that could magnify things from anywhere from 30 million to 80 million diameters.
Okay.
And he was able to go into almost what you might say the quantum level of biology and see what was happening and what was going on. And he discovered these life crystals, and he learned how to distill and concentrate them. And he got some amazing results when these life crystals came into our biology. And the fact that the Divine Vine has the fulvic acid mixed with these little life crystals, I like that because it's annihilating the radiation, and at the same time, the life crystals are regenerating the damage that was created by the presence of the radiation in the first place. So we're talking excellent thyroid function being restored, excellent other glandular functions like pituitary, adrenals, testes, ovaries. All of those can be restored with the help of the life crystals, and the fulvic acid, of course, having the hyperintelligent molecules to remove all of the toxins that are inhibiting proper biological function.
Wonderful. We're going to take a little break here to give respect to my sponsor, which is NuWellness Healthcare. So I want to thank our sponsor, NuWellness Healthcare Clinic, for sponsoring NuWellness TV with Dr. Lee, and our segment on NuWellness TV with Dr. Lee and Marie, Dining Out Healthy with Dr. Lee and Marie. The segment will be coming up momentarily. But I just want to say at NuWellness, we offer so many different treatment modalities as far as helping a person to heal. But most important, NuWellness Healthcare will design a program that's best for you. So it's not you walk in and you're just going to start a certain program. NuWellness Healthcare actually customized based on your physical examination, your lab tests, which is functional blood work, hair analysis, heavy metal testing. So we do all these at NuWellness Healthcare, then we set you up in a program. So anything you've seen or products you have noticed on this show today, please contact us at NuWellness Healthcare, or when you contact the company, say that you saw this product that Dennis Watts have shared with us, and you saw the product mentioned by Dennis Watts on NuWellness TV with Dr. Lee. I just want to thank you so much for tuning in. I want to thank our sponsor, NuWellness Healthcare. We also provide the IV nutrition, as we discuss all the time. So visit our website, NuWellness, New is N-U, healthcare.com. You can call us at 310-419-4300. And thank you again for tuning in to the show. Okay, back to you.
All right.
Dennis Watts. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You have given us so much wonderful, valuable information, and we're going to keep going here.
Okay.
You know, I want to ask you, as far as your health, how is your own health? How has it been based on, you have all of this technology and research, so.
Well, I'm cooking and I'm running on 12 cylinders like I should be. All my mitochondria are kicked into gear and serving me well.
Okay.
But that's just me. Now, I have been hit with the radiation. I was told by a friend of mine who has the gift of analyzing and giving me an idea.
We have the same friend.
Yes, we have the same friend. And he basically said, Dennis, you've been hit by plutonium and polonium. I said, where did I get that? How in the world could that happen?
Yes.
And he went on to explain to me that back in 2008, there was a satellite that fell out of orbit over Hawaii, and it had a nuclear power supply. And when it burned up in the atmosphere, all of this plutonium and polonium and this power supply is raining down, and he believes and under the impression that it'll be raining on this planet for the next 100 to 1,000 years. And I said, what? That is serious, and we got a number of these kind of things floating around the planet? And he said, yep, and according to his sources. So I'm saying we've got to protect.
Yes, we
now,
do.
Immediately, I used some of the life crystals to help get that, because remember I told you 1 microgram of that stuff makes your life go sideways.
Yes.
And when I noticed, I said, wait a minute, I haven't changed my diet. Why am I feeling off? Why am I feeling as though I don't have my full stamina, my full endurance? I go and do something and I have to go sit down, or I'm walking and I find my balance is slightly off. And that's what was going on. I had been hit by, stoned by the smooth criminal, radiation. And as a result, by going on the Folium PX, I hit with the Divine Vine, because I do Folium PX every other month, but I do Divine Vine continuously and fill the gap.
Exactly.
And then I'm making sure I do the lemon that I just showed you. That's something else that I do. I take a touch of the bentonite, and that keeps the levels of the radiation down to the where I don't have any symptoms.
Exactly.
But at the same time, I'm under constant assault, just like everybody else is. So what I am also, my other hat, I'm a quantum physicist.
Yes.
And as a result, I am looking at ways to, let's say, enhance the environment to protect large swaths of people, neighborhoods, land from the harmful effects of radiation. So I've been experimenting with how to create these very powerful vortexes. It turns out vortexes neutralize the harmful effects of radiation.
Okay.
And at the same time, something else that Dr. George Merkel discovered was something called Sumerian water. He discovered the geometries that make these life elixirs, he called them. But basically, this works with the mitochondria. He calls them cosmic incubators.
Okay.
They generate the ATP so I can bat my eyes and talk and
have all this
and
energy.
dance and enjoy life.
Yes.
And I found that geometry because I was a geek and I went through all 215 pages of his research and I gleaned that information out and I incorporated it into a design wherein I can take the vibration of this life elixir to enhance mitochondrial function. And that's where we can maintain our endurance, maintain our stamina, maintain our health. If we have a radiant, bright light of energy moving, no dis-ease can befall you.
Exactly.
That's what I truly believe.
Yeah, I have used glutathione as well.
Absolutely. I still use
in a nebulizer. That works really well for radiation, and actually not just radiation, making the lungs and the sinus areas a lot healthier there, so you don't have the problem. Because it's actually good for COPD, asthma, and respiratory disorders. So as I'm helping a person to heal, we're also helping them to breathe better.
Right.
So they don't have to use the inhalers. And to mention that, in the marketplace, that has gone skyrocket.
Absolutely.
Inhalers, because of what's happening in our environment.
Right.
Now they just made a comment about the inhalers, stating that if you're using an inhaler for a long period of time, it can lead to pneumonia. So that's the new research just out on the inhalers.
Wow.
Not knowing that it's actually environmental.
Yeah.
You wouldn't be there with an inhaler.
Absolutely. And I mean, like a couple of weeks ago, my roommate was found to have diabetes, what they call DKA, diabetic ketoacidosis, and third stage cancer. And it was like, they eat a healthy diet. What in the world is going on? Why is this? We're in emergency and then she was admitted into what is called the intensive care unit.
Yes.
And you had to wait a long time because the intensive care unit was full. And then they wanted to, after about 5 days in intensive care, they wanted to move her to something called progressive care. She had to wait
All
days.
these names now, okay.
She had to wait to get into progressive care because it was full. And then they said, it's even worse at the regular rooms. And I said, well, what's the common thread? People are having a hard time breathing. And pneumonia issues. And I say, well, have you considered radiation? She said, no, we haven't. And I say, do you know that could be a possible? No, we have not. And we're not looking at it from that perspective.
And they're not going to look at it. That's the bottom line. They're not going to.
So I'm saying, okay, I understand. And I didn't push it any further.
You can't, because I've tried that.
And I'm noticing we have to do it ourselves.
Yes, we do.
Because I'm seeing a lot of people coming up to the conclusion, oh, there's no radiation problem. And I know back in 2013, when I was trying to prove I had a solution for the Fukushima issue, we have a product that actually can remediate radiation in 72 hours. And I wanted Sandia Labs to demonstrate and show and prove what this technology could do. And I was talking to them about Fukushima, and they were saying to me, oh, don't worry. The solution to this pollution is dilution. The ocean is so vast.
Oh,
it's going to just thin out and everything will be fine. Now, under normal circumstances, that may be true. Normal meaning just one assault to the ocean.
Yes.
But we're having somewhere in the neighborhood of 300 to 400 tons of highly radioactive water flowing into the Pacific Ocean on a daily basis. how does the ocean recuperate under that kind of assault?
Well, look what's happening with the fish.
Yeah,
you saw all this dead fish that came floating up.
Absolutely, they're upside down because they can't breathe. And why can't they breathe?
Other sea animals,
absolutely,
dead.
Yeah, the whales, they're finding them all the way down in New Zealand. Hundreds of floating up onto their beaches. They're finding sharks in the Barrier Reef in Australia with gigantic cancers hanging off their lower jaw. The seals are coming up on the beach totally burned up from floating through this so-called diluted radiation.
We're here in California, and I didn't see the news, but I went back to check. But there was a seal that made it all the way to Lincoln Boulevard. I mean, for a person to not know where that is, that's like, a good couple of miles from the ocean to Lincoln. And a seal was right there on the street. So they was able to, capture it and put it back into the water. But can you imagine?
Yeah, I
what kind
understand.
Of stress? What's going on with this?
They cannot stand to be in the water.
No.
Even the kelp is breaking loose and rolling up on the beach. The kelp can't even stand to be out there in the ocean. And I said, and everybody is not even paying attention to the cost. And I have friends who have some fantastic technology for building kelp farms. And I said, well, don't you want to understand why the kelp isn't there? Because 94% of the kelp is gone.
Yes.
And that's the essence of an extinction level event, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes.
And if you don't realize that, if the ocean is having a difficult time, I guarantee you, we're going to have one too, because it's all tied together. There is, in fact, no separation when we're talking about life, when we're talking about creation. Everything is here to support everything else.
Yes.
Just like all the organs in my body are to support my overall life.
Yes.
The same thing is happening on a planetary scale. It's happening on a solar system scale, a galactic scale, a universal scale. Everything is here to support everything else.
It's all connected.
It's all connected. There is no separation. And ladies and gentlemen, I also want to let you know the science and the math has come in proving that is a fact. It's no longer just in the realms of mysticism. It is scientifically, mathematically proven there is no separation.
This is why you are here.
Yes.
Dennis Watts.
Yes.
You are here for that reason, because you know scientifically, and there's proof.
Absolutely.
It's just not a theory.
And we can thank Nissim Harameen for 15 years of hard work to bring that math to us. And that's basically discovering the geometry of space-time so that we can understand how the Creator actually moves information from one side of the universe to the other at the speed of thought. And we are just individualized encapsulations of that awesome intelligence. And that is what we got to come to realize and to take into our mind and understand. Any part of creation that I hate or dislike for any reason, I have just cut myself off from source mind function when I do that. I cannot be superior to any part of myself. My left hand can't be superior to my right hand.
Exactly.
It's all part of the same system.
Yes.
So we've got to come to that realization from a civilized point of view and understand that white supremacists cannot function properly because they're cut off from source mind function whenever you think you're better than anyone else. It doesn't work.
Right.
You cannot win when you ain't right within.
Yeah.
And that's just the way the world and creation works.
Yes, it does. Mr. Watts, or Dennis Watts.
Yes.
I just want to thank you so much for being here. We're going to move into our second segment here of the show, Dining Out Healthy with Dr. Lee and Marie. And because we're dining out, we're going to talk about, where we had just visited the restaurant, what people should kind of look for.
Okay.
Because we want to make sure that we're going to organic and vegan places, what we're going to choose from that list of foods to eat. But I want to say that I'm going to have you back again because there's several topics that I want you to discuss. I love your delivery system. I think you're absolutely wonderful. And I'm so honored to have you here today.
Well, thank you so very much, Dr. Lee. I appreciate it so much for this platform.
I will be calling you back for next month. Okay, I will.
Get ready. Bring your notebooks.
Yes. Thank you again. So we're going to move in now, shift into our segment, Dining Out Healthy with Dr. Lee and Marie. And I want to thank Marie because she's just absolutely wonderful for co-hosting this second segment with me, because she's terrific. She goes and does all the research and everything on each restaurant and the food. I just want to say, based on the fact of the show we just had on radiation, we want to try to gravitate to those foods that's going to feed our body nutritionally so we will be healthy. And if you're going to see these wonderful pictures of these wonderful salads and everything else, make sure you're putting things into your salad bowl that's going to nourish your organs and your health and your life force, which is very important. Marie, thank you so much for being here.
Oh, thank you. And thank you. What an amazing show.
Let's keep going. That's
anyway,
wonderful.
It is
yes,
wonderful.
It is.
And with that being said, all the important things of creating new healthy habits for ourselves as well as dining out. We went locally here, just right across the street from the studios. We went to Sweet Greens, and it was amazing. Just right across the street, you have amazing food here. Mm-hmm. We had delicious, homemade, organic, all plant-based bowls.
Okay.
And the owners were graciously, they brought out the deliciousness for us to sample and try. We had other guests with us last week, and it's just all so fresh, all so clean. You get to watch them make it in front of you. And what I really, really love about these restaurants that we're experiencing, that they do a lot of work giving back. They have farms that they're involved in. They do a lot of community work, a lot of educational programs for children. And so this is important part of eating, is having these awareness of where you go. The food here is just, the vibe is wonderful, a lot of energy, a lot of people locally walking in. The line was out the door. We couldn't believe
everybody walking in was full of life and energy,
oh,
too.
my
because
gosh.
They were wanting to eat good
foods and good organic foods. And they do serve some meat there. So they do have choices of protein with the salmon and chicken, which is all grass-fed, organic deliciousness. And the menu is really fun. These are some delicious bowls that we got to experience. So I always enjoy this part of our show, is the tasting of it all. And I want to thank Dr. Lee for inviting me to do this. It's such a pleasure to share this experience with everybody. Yes, yes.
Yeah. And to make sure you have non-GMO and organic foods when you're going out. I mean, and then the thing is, we just have to bless it. We don't know. We don't even know when we go out. We don't even know when we buy it ourselves, and it says organic. How was it even brought into the place? Was it wrapped in plastic? Did that leach into the food, even though it was organic? So the next best step is just blessing
your food. Absolutely.
You bless it, and you do the very best you can.
Absolutely.
So I want to thank the restaurant for allowing us to be there. If you really want a nice big salad, or if you want more food, but Sweet Greens was a very nice place.
It was very nice.
And again, go through and pick out foods that's green foods, and as you see, the bowls have color, so you're going to have different nutrients and micronutrients in the bowl that you're eating because of the color of the color of the vegetables, which is very important.
And what I really liked I noticed it, is also they do seasonal, and that's how I cook as well. So whatever's in season in spring, that's what they're going to use.
And that's what you should do.
And they roll over, and I think that's a beautiful thing.
It's wonderful. It's wonderful. So thank you, and I want to thank everybody for tuning in today to NuWellness TV with Dr. Lee. So you can actually listen to us and watch us. So we are on the radio as well. But please visit our YouTube channel. Please go to NuWellness TV with Dr. Lee, our YouTube channel. This will be posted up there later on today. Share this with your friends and family, because this show will help save your life and others. I want to thank you so much again for tuning in. And as I always say at the end of the show, please repeat after me. I am so grateful.
So grateful.
That I am
a
magnet.
A magnet
for miracles.
For miracles.
Have a wonderful, blessed day. And until next Wednesday, peace to everyone.
Peace.
Join us every Wednesday live at 11 a.m. for NuWellness TV with Dr. Lee. Remember, healthy mind, healthy body.